Hi, it's Nick. I just want to explain a little bit about my new nickel plate road Berkshire engine. I received it last month and I've been running it in a TMC mode. I had to wait until I got the new sensor track, which I did, and through the sensor track I could download all the legacy part of the engine onto my base, and then I can operate it in a legacy mode. I made a video of it a while ago, and you might like to check it out. But let's continue with the engine. It's a beautiful looking engine. It is a scale engine, 1/48 scale. I'll start with the side. What I like about it is the paint scheme and the color of the letters. Start in the front. You have this nice battleship gray, and then it goes into the black, and then it comes back, and right under the 75-9 you see a nice white stripe, and then another stripe that comes right along the side of the engine, and then they dropped it and then they brought it forward again. I thought that was really nice. And also what complements that is the white on the wheels. As you can see, all the drive wheels have it. And also the linkage. I really like it also. Nice detail to it. And when it's moving, it really looks really great. And it has a lot of detail as far as the piping. Here's a separate plied handrail that goes all the way back. And then right under it you have another piping right here, is separately applied. And right in this area, separately applied, in this little piece right in here. But if you come over here and you see all these detail in the piping, that's part of the molding. But they did a very nice job in the casting. It looks really as though it wasn't part of the casting. And then you have these nice rings that come down, as you can see in here. And where the ash pan is, which also, as you can see, is gray, this is a separately applied piping that comes down, goes into this device right here, and continues right into this area here. Then as you go up, there's another separately applied some kind of a cylinder. And then you have one on it right over in here, which is separately applied. Also, over your main piston, they have a handle here and separately applied piping. And then right behind, that's where your main tube is, where this, as in the real world, the steam would just come out of the boiler down into your pistons. Now, over on here, you have a separately applied handrail, and the trucks of the front is cast and has some nice detail to it. There's the grease bearing right in here, and then in the back this is also cast, and they have, it's all molded of course, but they have some nice detail in the molding, as you can see, with the grease bearing caps right in here. And then right here there's another railing, and they have on the cab, you have your window and it's glass in it, but the window doesn't slide back and forth. And then you have your figure of your engineer, and then they have like a little shield coming down, I guess for the rain, it'll just roll off. And I think that's about it for the side of the engine. Also, you have the nameplate here. And if you have a magnifying glass, you can read what it says. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick it up and I'll show you the front of the engine. And I have to tell you, it is one heavy engine. Beautiful engine. See if we can get that in. Yeah, that should be good. Well, we'll start with, here's the cow catcher, and you have two platforms here. You have a scale coupler, and you have some separately applied piping right in this area. And then you have a separately applied release, and right here there's a chain, and it actually picks up a pin. So that's really nice. Then as we go up further, there's some more detail right in this area, a little platform. And you have a railing here, handrail. And you have your steps. And as I mentioned, you have a hand railing, separate applied here, hand railing, and one on this side here. And the number boards, and you on the side of each side of the headlight, you have a number board, says 759, and of course this one here, 759. And what I like about it, this one they have more of a, it's like a goldish color, and then on the top they're bright white, and on the side. And then you have your marker lights, and every one of these do illuminate. Now you have your headlight, and you have your strobe light right above the headlight, and the headlight has a little shield on it too. Thought that's nice. And then you have a nice brass bell. It doesn't move, but it really has a nice detail to it. And I like the detail of all the rivets, and you have your hinges, and you have hinges here. And this actually opens up. I'll show you. It's a nice little touch to it. And I think that's about it as far as the front goes. What I like to do is show you the back now. I'll pick it up again. Here's the back of the engine. We'll start with this part right in here. This is where the engine hooks up to the tender. And right there is the sensor where it picks up all the information from the tender. As you can see, it has some nice little rivets in this area. It has a little, looks like a wheel in here. And then you have your handrail on both sides. You have a nice platform. And this engine does have the flickering firebox, which is right there. And it has some nice detail in it. You have right in here some type of a railing maybe, or piping, some little piping in here. And I'll just put it on an angle, see if we can get this part. As you see here, there's the fireman, and you also have right in this here a lot of gauges and lines coming down. And of course this is all molded, but they did a real nice job. Now I'll swing it over so you can see the engineer. Might have went too far. Okay, here's the engineer, and he has a lot of gauges on this side also, and some controls. That's about it for the inside. Now what we'll do is I'll show you the top of the engine. See if I can lay it on its side carefully, of course. There's your cloth here. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, what we have here, we'll start right in here. This is molded, little door hatches with a lot of nice rivets. Of course, you have your smoke stack, and it has some device holding it on this side, but it's all molded. And you can see some nice rivet in this area, some type of a hatch. And there's that separately applied a valve with the colored red, the handle. And here's your whistle, and right under it there's a hole. Then you have this device right in here, and nice detail with the hatches. and the hinges, but again, this is all molded. You have some separately applied piping, goes into these device here, could be a generator. And then you have 3 safety valves, and they're painted brass. And you have some more separately applied units in this part in here. And then right in this area you have hatches with hinges, but this is part of the mold. Then you have the hatch, and this hatch does open. I'll just open it up for you, and it closes. And on top of the cab, it's nice rivet details that they have here, as you can see how it is. And basically that's it for the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move up the coal tender, and we'll look at the coal tender. I just want to put the engine on the track. Just give me a moment. Okay, now we'll move the tender up. Piece of wood out of there. There we go. Now, this is all cast, and I like the nickel plate road lettering. It's really nice and detailed, and I love the color of it. And on the side, as you see, you have these nice rivets coming down, all up in here. And the trucks are cast, and nice detail in it, as the springs, and you have your oil caps. And this is 2 foot, it's a 6, this is a 12-wheel coal tender. And right here, let's move it a little bit, you have a separate ply ladder, and then in the front you also have a separately applied ladder right in here. And I like the shape of the body, how it curves. We'll do the front now. And also, this is a heavy tender. Yeah, we got it now, right? All right, this is where the engine would attach to the coal tender, and there's the sensor that sends the information to the engine. And you have a nice platform here, and you have another platform, and you have separately applied railings on both sides, and you have some detail work in here. And then you have this area right in here, and you have a plaque here, and if you had a magnifying glass, you could read it. And you have another platform in this area. Now we'll go to the back of it. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? Up on the top here, in the same color lettering, it says NYC and STL. That gives it a nice little character to it. And then the back, it has the remote control coupler, and you have the release, coupler release. I don't want to get my finger in there, but there we go. There it is. Of course, this doesn't have the chain or the pin because it's electrical. And then you have a nice separately plied ladder, a little handle here. And you have your backup light, has nice rivet detail. And of course, it's 759, and it has other writing in there. But I think it has to do with telling you how many gallons of water is in it. But I can't really read it; it's too small. Now what I'll do is I'll show you the top. Just give me a few moments. I'll put it on its side. Now, we'll start off with the coal. This is real cold, it's just glued in there, I guess. And then you have separately applied hand railings here, over in this area, and in here. and it has a lot of nice river detail. And these hatches do open. See if I can get it to open. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. These open separately. And there's nothing in here, of course, but this is the volume control right in here. So it's has a lot of nice detail to it. And now what I like to do is show you the bottom of it. Hold on for a second. Now on the bottom, you see here you have a cylinder, separate plied cylinder. I guess that would represent the cylinder for the brakes. And this has 2 bass speakers, this one here and one, yeah, it's right underneath this truck, right in this area. And then you have your pickup wheels. And this is the sensor, that when that goes over the sensor track, that's what sends all the communication for the legacy part of the engine to download or upload to the legacy control. And then from the legacy control, it will upload to the hand control. There is writing in here, but to be honest with you, it's too small for me to read. And also what they have, I'll just tilt it a little bit, they have some toolbox here, separately applied, and they have another part right here, separately applied, and something over in this area here. But it's really a beautiful tender in the engine. And when I have the tender hooked up to the engine, from the front of the engine to the coupler, it's 26 inches long. This is one of the longer engines. I have a Makita, which is only, I believe, 21 inches. What I'll do now is I'll stop it, I'll put it together, and then I'll go through the train sounds and the whistles and also some crew talk. So I'm going to shut the video off right now, and then when I get everything together, I'll turn it back on. Hi, it's Nick again. What we do now is we'll go through some of the train sounds and crew talk. What I'll do right now is start it up.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy?
Roger that, dispatcher. I read you. Over.
Okay, start her up. Stand by for track orders.
Gotcha, dispatcher. We're ready to move. Out.
So I'll play some crew talk. This will be the engineer trying to get permission from the dispatcher.
Dispatcher, the air test is complete. Am I cleared to the outbound? Over.
Roger that. Take the green. Over.
Copy that, dispatcher. Cleared to the outbound. Here we go. Out. Tower, the air test is complete. Am I cleared to the outbound? Over.
Negative. Stand by. Over.
Roger that. Waiting on a clear signal. Out. Dispatcher, still wondering about that signal. Can we depart to the main line? Over.
Negative. Hold your position. Over.
Yes, sir. Sit tight. Out.
Dispatcher here. You're clear to pull. Over.
That's great. Cleared to the outbound. Here we go. Out.
This is the dispatcher. Hold your position. Over.
Roger that. Sit tight. Out.
Dispatcher here. You're cleared outbound. Over.
Copy that. We've got a clear signal. Here we go. Out.
All right, now I'll turn on the smoke. Yes, I'll blow the whistle. And as I mentioned, this has the smoke effect. And I really like the sound of the whistle. Now this engine also has, as I mentioned before, the flickering firebox, but also has the glow, the ash pan glow. And as it moves, it'll go on, and then as it picks up speed, it'll get brighter. And I'm going to shut the light off, see if we can see that. Here we go. Yeah, you can see it. And then of course, as you go slower, it'll dim. And then when you stop, it goes off, as you can see. Now what I'll do is I'll run it around the curve so you can see the flickering firebox. I think it's picking it up. I'll back it up. And of course, it has the backup light, as you can see. The light went on. There it is. It's a beautiful engine. And just the sounds of the engine. Now they have, let's see if you can see it, different controls. This control right up here, it has two functions. When it's stationed and I press it, you'll get the water coming from the water tower feeding into the coal tender. I'll play it. I'll do it again. Now when the engine is moving and I press that button, what it represents is that the engineer is feeding water into the boiler. And there's a different sound. I'll move the engine. Oops. I'll play it again. Now I'll stop it. And I'll play it again and you'll hear the difference. That was kind of neat. Now they have another one, and I'm going to back it up, and that's the strobe light and the headlight. I'll back it up so you can see it. And it has a button, two buttons, and it's called Rule 17. And one button dims the headlight, and the other one brightens it. And of course, the reason they do that is when you have an oncoming train, you don't want to blind the engineer, so they dim their lights. And then when they pass the engineer, then they put it back on. I just want to get it so you can see it. I have the strobe light off because the strobe light doesn't go dim. It's just the headlight. And you'll see the difference. Now it's bright. And it went dim. Went bright and it went dim. Thought that's also neat. And I'll put the strobe light on. Alright. Supposed to go on. There we go. I had to reset it for some reason. Now I'll dim it. Oh, that was bright. The headlight went dim and then went bright. That's rule 17. I think that's about it as far as the sounds and the whistle. And that's the ash pan glowing. Now there's one other thing that you can do with the engine, and that's the automatic sequence control. And I'm going to play that. And the way you do it, if you hold the X1 down for a few seconds, it'll go into the automatic sequence. Here we go. All right, that tells me it's in the automatic sequence. Now, in the automatic sequence, the only thing I control is the movement of the engine. And then
Dispatcher, I see that signal. We're good to go. Over.
Acknowledged. Out.
That was the automatic sequence. I'm going to move the engine.
Tower, train is outbound. Over.
So all I'm controlling is the speed. Everything else is the computer. Now that bell will stop when it goes to 20 miles an hour scale. So I'm going to pick up the speed. It should be going off. Yeah. Now it says when you throttle up, it doesn't give what speed, but the next one that's another one. It hits 60 miles an hour. You couldn't hear it, but it was saying he's doing maximum speed. It hit 140 speed. Now I'm going to start slowing it down. That's 61.
All clear inbound, dispatcher. Pulling in now. Over.
Roger that. Out.
Now the reason it went on the bell, it went to 23 miles, a scale mile.
Dispatcher, my engine is stopped. The brakes are set. Over.
Roger that. Out.
So that's the end of the sequence. Now I'm going to press a button, and that's, you'll hear the crew talk.
Call it a day. Out.
And that completes the whole cycle. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and watching my new Berkshire nickel plate road. I really enjoyed running it and explaining everything to you, and I hope you enjoyed it. And you have a great day.